Next one I wanted to touch on was Gilbert Burns saying Charles Oliveira needs to take some time off after the knockout loss. So less so around retirement and more so just, what do you guys do with Charles to kind of get him back in the mix? Maybe not against someone who's gonna put that much power into a punch on him, but maybe like a grappling fight or something. But just anyway, what did you guys' thoughts on Charles, where he's at, and kind of how we get him back in the mix here?
I look, and I know this is probably not what people want to hear, but for me, I feel like the fight to make is Charles and Max Holloway. After Max fights Dustin, they both have fought kind of similar around the same time. They both get some time off, and then you probably try to have them fight towards the end of the year or maybe even the beginning of next year. Let them have their rest, depending on how Max's fight goes. But if Max loses, you put him and Charles together so one of your stars gets a win. Okay, if Max wins, I think you maybe hold Max and get that automatic rematch. Get that rematch in there, depending on what goes on with Sarukian and Justin and who they're battling right now to see who gets that fight. But with Charles, I think the fight to make is really just the Max fight. And then if I work my way down even further, I mean, do you want to put him against somebody else in that mix? Like, do you put him against Dariush again? I don't think you do.
I'm being honest. You take a look. If there's one fight. First off, Charles does need to take time. Again,
absolutely.
Look, he got knocked out. And I mean, he got knocked out. He needs to take the time, let his body heal, let his brain heal back up. It's so important. Second off, if you're going to take a look at a fight that does make sense, I agree with you. I think that the one against him and Max, be it either way, Max wins or Max loses. The Max Holloway fight, look, a lot of people don't remember. They actually fought once, but there was nothing that happened. Yeah. He hurt his collarbone, shoulder, in the fight, and he basically, had to give up the fight before anything happened. So that, they do have a, fight from the past, but it never really took place. So that'd be a great fight you'd want to see. That was at 145. This one's going to be at 155. Great. It's a perfect matchup. It helps establish Max where he's at in division. He already beat the guy at the time that was number one in Justin. Can he beat the guy that is right there ahead of Justin in Charles Oliveira? Puts him right in position to get that shot again at Ilya, or it gives Charles Oliveira the ability to fight someone that has a win against him, even though he got hurt. That's how it happened, but it's something he'd like to get back, I'm sure.
Yeah, I think that's a good matchup. It really is. Like I said, if Max wins, though, it's going to be. I think it'd be hard for the UFC to say like, "Hey, how do we have him fight Charles?"
That's a tough one.
When we can have him fight Ilya at 155, and there's a storyline already it can build on. Yeah. That's kind of where I see that going on. Now it's just a matter of what you do with the Sarukian or Justin. Justin saying I was promised a fight, a title shot, and Armand, the whole mix up of that, and it just not mix up, but the mess up, I should say. Yeah. So there's a lot to be had there. The 155-pound weight class is making a wave right now. It's making a splash right now, and 145 is going to have to sort itself out. So for years we had Max, we had Volk, we had Brian Ortega, we had those guys in the mix, and now we don't have them. Brian's there. He's decided to stay. Which is good. I think now that Volk is kind of towards the end, Max is gone, Ilya's gone. I mean, Brian Ortega has a very good chance of winning that title. He's got a great chance, I think, of making a good run at 145 pounds. If I'm looking at that, because you look, Evloev, I think it's a bad matchup for. I think it's a good matchup. Sorry for Brian Ortega.
So that's not a bad matchup.
That's not a bad matchup for Brian Ortega. I was trying to say he was a bad.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. There's guys in there though. Diego and Brian running it again. And having that fight again. You've got you got Max going up. He's gone. You got Yair. You've got Lerone Murphy. I want to see the Aljamain Sterling Brian Ortega fight.
That's a good one.
That's a good fight. I want to see that fight. So we'll see what happens. But look, I think there's the featherweight division needs to sort itself out, and the lightweight division is now stacked in. Like they've got two big 145 pounders that have making a wave. You got Max, you got Ilya, and I thought Brian was coming up too, and that would have been even more fun. But you've got guys as well, and those guys are in the long lasting guys. the pillars of that weight class are now moving on. You know, they're going to retire, and you got Justin, you got Dustin, and you know those guys are moving on. So there's a lot to be said. You know, in Islam going up to 70. So that weight class is going to get spicy again. Looking forward to it. I mean, it's really what's been holding up the sport.
When you're adding a top flight athlete to a weight class, it shakes everything up because there's all these matchups that can all of a sudden occur.
Yeah.
You know, and you get a couple in there, it's perfect.
I agree. This episode is brought to you by BetUS. Make sure you guys YouTube 150 for the promo code. Also, Element, use the link in the descriptions down below. Any product you buy from there, they will send you a bonus package of product if you use our link down below. Element's amazing, man. I love it. And I want to say thank you, man. Thank you guys so much for continuing to support us.